Hey, water signs, Pisces, Cancer, and Scorpio, Ascendant, Sun, Moon, Venus, Rising, and those cross-watching. In today's tarot reading, we're going to take a look and see why did your person ghost you, or why is it that they've pulled away? Why are they acting perhaps weird lately? There is going to be a part 2 to this reading as well, guys, and in part 2 we'll follow on with the messages and possibly go into a little bit more depth and detail with the messages as well. And part 2 will be made available via the extension link below. As this is a general reading, for those of you interested in a personal one, please feel free to reach out and inquire. My email address is going to be listed below the video, also where the show more section is. Otherwise, let's go ahead and let's begin with the reading and see why is it that your person has, why is it that they've pulled away, why is it that they've ghosted you, or why are they acting weird or very distant, strange lately. You're probably already all noticing that there's a lot of swords here in the reading. You might be dealing with an air sign, a Gemini, an Aquarius, a Libra, or someone who may have air within their natal chart. But swords are a weapon, okay? They are governed by mental energy. First and foremost, maybe this is someone whom you have, you're not having any contact with this person at all right now. Maybe this is someone who's very abruptly and very quickly and quite suddenly cut off all contact and communication with you. Someone who may have distanced themselves physically as well as emotionally. There's a lot of pain in the energies here, so perhaps this person pulling away or this person ghosting you has caused you a lot of pain, has caused you a lot of emotional confusion, has left you feeling very confused, even disorientated as well. It's important for you to know that the person that's on your mind right now, the person that you're dealing and connected to, this is someone who, interestingly enough, they want to love you, but they're afraid to do so. And I think this is at the core of why it is that they've pulled away, or why it is that they're acting very weird and strange all of a sudden. This is someone who either has started to develop some very strong, very foreign and very real feelings for you, and that's what scared them off. Or they could one day they just took a look at you and they could see themselves falling in love with you. They could see themselves building a future with you. They could see themselves settling down, having children with you. It started feeling real. The emotions started feeling really real. The situation started feeling very real. And maybe they came into this not intending, to catch feelings, not intending to fall in love, not intending for this to become as real as it became for them. Even if it was just early days, because for some of you, you've just, you might have just recently connected with this person and it was like things were very great, okay? There was nothing that you might have said or nothing that you've done to push this person away. And it's important for you to know that because of the way in which this person has left the situation, because of the way in which they removed themselves from the situation, it's left you feeling very confused. I can see that it's left you feeling very discombobulated, very disorientated. A lot of you are, you're even feeling guilty. A lot of you are even asking yourselves, was it something you've said? Was it something you've done? did you offend them? Could have you acted differently? It's important for you to know that it wasn't anything that you've said or done to make them pull away, or for them to go ghost on you, go casp on you, or for them to go distancing on you. It's a lot to do with what's happening with your person emotionally and internally. There may have been some emotional triggers. I don't think you were the one that has caused these emotional triggers. I just think that from what I can see, that your person here has a lot of repressed or suppressed emotions, that unhealed emotional wounds, some very raw emotions and emotional wounds that are still festering. And what this person has done is they've never really dealt with it. So there's a lot of heartbreak or heartache that might have stemmed from previous romantic relationships, emotional trauma from even, childhood days, the emotional environment and their upbringing from, could have been like abandonment from previous partners or parental figures. So there's a lot of pain that this person carries, and they've never really properly dealt with their pain. They've buried it, and for a long time it's stayed buried, but it's starting to resurface. It's starting to resurface. And this is someone who, when they're with you, I feel like you've either reminded them of someone that they're someone important in their life. Okay, it could have been a romantic figure or just even like a connecting energy, or they saw themselves potentially being happy with you. They saw themselves falling in love with you. As I've mentioned, they've started to catch some really raw and intense feelings. But what has happened is that scared them off, okay? Because this person wants to love you. I just don't know that they have the capacity to do so right now, because there is some really raw emotions that need tending to, that need healing, that need nurturing, and they're festering, and that's what's hindered this connection. There could also, of course, have been a third party situation. Maybe you and this person put you in a third party situation. Maybe there was a bit of a third party entanglement. That's not necessarily to say that there was another person involved. I mean, there could have been. Maybe this individual was already in an existing relationship, or maybe you were in a committed relationship to someone else, and this could be the contributing factor as to why this person went ghost or why this person pulled away. They didn't necessarily want to interfere or to get in the way of things for you. So there could have been a third person, but third person as in like third party as in, yeah, you being committed to someone else or them being committed to someone else. But I'm also translating this other, like this third party situation, to be that this person might be, okay, because it's a lot of mental energy, they might be under the in their head, okay, they might have been under the assumption that it's this thought process that the grass is greener somewhere else, okay, or that they may have been more for as much as they saw and identified potential in this relationship, and for as much as they felt themselves falling in love with you, they thought that maybe there was someone more compatible out there for them. And it might not make sense, but I think what's important for you to know that this person, the whole point of this is that this person saw just how much potential this relationship has, and just how much it could work out. And even though they want this thing, they're afraid of this thing. So just because someone wants something, it doesn't mean that they're ready for it. It doesn't mean that they're, or that they're deserving of it. So this person, even though they may have wanted a relationship with you, or they may have wanted, to build on this connection, and to arrive at this happy place with you, it scared them. That scared them. Because we spoke about them carrying so much pain. See, for them, relationships, they grew up, maybe it's due to the emotional environment that they were brought up in. Maybe it's due to a lot of the previous relationships that they've had in the past. They grew up thinking that relationships are meant to be heartbreaking, okay? They're meant to be painful, they're meant to be difficult, they're not necessarily meant to be healthy. And that's the belief that they've held, and they've really held on to this belief. And then when all of a sudden things were going great with you, and even though they've enjoyed themselves, and even though it's what they wanted, because of this conditioning, because of this programming with your person's energy, they thought that, you know, this isn't what a relationship should be like. It should be heartbreaking, it should be difficult, it should be challenging, it should be, you know, dramatic and whatnot. So, and it's not right, but this is their conditioning, this is their upbringing. And this is one of the reasons why this person has pulled away. I feel like this person is loving you at a distance. Okay, I feel like this is someone who, if they're in a third party situation, they may be with someone else, but they're thinking about you, or they're loving you from a distance. So it feels like they, you know, especially with the Page of Swords here, it feels like they are talking about you. They do talk about you. They talk about you with their family, their friends. It also feels like they may potentially, you know, be checking up on you, keeping, checking up on your social media pages, especially if you guys are still connected, or they may be using like friends or a fake account to do just that. It's a way of them staying connected to you. I'm also seeing that this person there may be children involved in this situation, and unfortunately them ghosting you or them pulling away from you is also impacting the children. But I'm also seeing that this person may I think them pulling away was also, them ghosting you was also a way of avoiding having this conversation that they needed to have with you, and you needed to hear, and you needed to have this conversation with them. And that was, you know, the whole. So they pulled away because they didn't necessarily want to be the villain. Okay, they didn't want to be the bad guy. They didn't want to be the person that broke your heart, even though their actions did just that, right? But I think that comes down to them being a little bit, you know, emotionally immature, juvenile, having possibly childlike predispositions. So they avoided having that uncomfortable conversation because they didn't want to be the bad guy. They didn't want to be the person to break your heart or to deliver the bad news. Even though verbally they didn't do this, you know, their actions spoke volumes, right? So it was a way of them avoiding having this conversation, sort of like cushioning the blow. I do see that this person is going to come back. I see that this person is still, like, it still feels like this person is around you, if that makes sense. Like, I don't think, even if you guys, and maybe that's because you haven't stopped talking. Okay, maybe you guys, even though communication is not as frequent and it's not as often, you guys are still talking with one another, or you guys are still energetically connected. You know, there may be this telepathic connection. You guys might be thinking about each other a lot. You guys might be, you know, both creeping and checking on each other's social media pages. So I feel like there's still some sort of connection there. And I'm also seeing that this person is likely to come back. I'm seeing that there is going to be contact or communication from this individual a lot sooner than you probably would expect. Okay, because swords, if I were to correlate it to a time frame, it's definitely a faster moving energy. So it could be a matter of days or weeks, but we'll explore that in part 2. I'm also seeing that there is something here that they want to communicate to you that I feel like is going to be very big. Okay, so it could be very shocking. There could be a lot of shock value to what they say here. It just could be something that is also going to give you a lot of insight into what it is that they want to share with you. But we'll explore that in part 2 of the reading. So thank you guys for your time, your energy, your attention. Follow me to part 2 via the extension link below. If you haven't already, please show your support by liking, sharing and subscribing to the channel. Bye!